Welcome to today's edition of Mental Health Matters. Today's topic is post-traumatic stress disorder. The guest on the show today is Joe Oliver, and he's going to share his story about his journey living with post-traumatic stress disorder. Stay tuned. Well, Joe, thank you so much, and I want to welcome you to our show. I'd like to thank the guests for just taking time out of their busy schedule to come on the show and just share their personal story. Why don't we start off with you introducing yourself and just kind of talk a little bit about your background, and we can just go from there.
All right, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yes.
Well, I was born in Texas.
Okay.
And I migrated out to San Francisco when I was 10. And then after that, I went back to Texas, Marshall, Texas in particular. And while I was there, I was sent an induction paper from the Marine Corps.
Oh.
And it was an induction paper. At that time, 1968, we still had to draft.
Okay.
So they were drafting me. So I was told to get back as soon as possible because I was going to be drafted. And from that point, I was taken down to the Oakland Induction Center.
Okay.
And from there, we went through all the rigmarole of swearing in to the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And as a result, I was taken into the Marine Corps. And my duty station was at MCRD. That's in San Diego.
Okay. And how old were you back then?
I was 19 and a half.
Okay. So I know that the paper came from what you said, the Marine?
From the U.S. government.
Okay. So did you have a choice?
Draft.
Okay. Did you have a choice to pick maybe like the Army, the Navy, or you had to pick what was on the draft paper, so to speak?
Yeah, that's a good question. I did have a choice.
Okay.
Either the Army, the Marine Corps, or the Navy.
Okay.
But I like those jazzy Marine Corps outfits. I like that blue. So I chose the Marine Corps.
Okay.
Yeah.
So prior going into the military, did you have family members or friends that actually enlisted before you went?
Well, no one in my family
Okay.
directly, but my father served for 6 years in World War II.
Okay.
So he was in the Army.
Okay. What was it like being at the age of 19 and 20 years old, just having that type of experience? Because when you think about it, you're 19 and 20 years old, in my mind, that's still young. I know here in society, we're considered to be an adult at the age of 18 years old.
Yeah.
And even though you can't buy like liquor or cigarettes until you're like 21 and maybe older in some other states.
Yeah.
But in my mind, that's still pretty young.
Yeah.
So what was that experience like for you going into it? Let's just talk about your introduction when you first got in it, the basic training. Like, what was that like for you?
Well, it was twofold. At the time, my sister had died
Okay.
in Texas. And that's why I was down there when I got the paperwork. So when I got the paperwork, I didn't really understand what it meant until I got back.
Okay.
And I was told that all those things concerning being drafted was going to take place. So I was kind of up in arms about that because I was having a great time on the streets with my friends.
Yeah.
And in the process of getting ready to go to school.
Okay.
And I had a great desire to go to school. And for all practical purposes, I wanted to be a surgeon.
Mm.
And that was short stop. if
Yeah.
you will, because I had to go into the Marine Corps. Now, on the other side of that, I was sort of glad that I was going to go in and that I had a choice of choosing the Marine Corps.
Okay.
And I thought maybe after I got there, I would have an opportunity to continue to pursue my objective. However, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Because they told me I was going to get aviation guarantee.
Oh, wow.
Guaranteed. And would you know it? I got 0311 guarantee, which meant infantry, straight up infantry.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it killed all that.
Yeah. So what was basic training like for you? Talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, being born up in Marshall, Texas, I had previously understood weaponry.
Okay.
So I know how to shoot.
Okay.
And so that wasn't a big problem. The biggest problem in the Marine Corps was that the tremendous voices, the loud voices, the frightening voices that the drill instructors perpetrated upon the new troops coming in.
Yeah.
So that, in other words, it's almost scared you out of your shoe. In fact, when I was there, I was dressed like I normally dress in San Francisco. I had on my Borsalino hat, I had on my silk and wool slacks and this sweater, and they pulled my hat off my head and threw it on the ground, and I became livid. My hat on it, and then from that point on, I knew this is going to be a different experience.
Yeah, yeah.
It's going to be different.
Yeah. So it sounds like that experience, even right there, you said you was livid. From what I'm getting for that, it taught to you how to submit to authority.
Initially, because of the loud voices,
Yeah.
the loud voices were so intimidating.
So loud voices mean like your higher ups, like the commander and people like that, lieutenants and.
Yeah, the drill instructors.
Okay, drill instructors.
But once I got over the fact that it was just a sound, then I was infuriated.
Yeah.
Because I felt that they were just trying to play me.
Yeah. It's interesting you said that, because even to this day as an adult, when somebody holler at me, that is a trigger for me. Yeah. That is, and you know, I've talked, a matter of fact, on my way here to the studio, I actually talked to my mom on the phone, and I was kind of telling her about what, you know, the topic was gonna be and things like that. And so she kind of brought up, because I ended up pledging Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated when I was in college. And she kind of brought that up, and you know, kind of it's nowhere comparable to the military because it's somewhat different. But just kind of going through, just kind of going through my own little thing. I'm putting it like that. I want to go into much detail.
All right.
But just being hollered at and somebody raising their voice at me, I don't know. It just triggers me.
Yeah.
I don't. I think I look at that as a lack of respect. I look at that as being very disrespectful, especially being an adult now. Right. As a kid, when your parents tell you to do something and they kind of raise their voice because you kind of take your time, that's a little bit different. But even back then, it just, I don't know, it gets me very livid. Yeah. So that's one of my triggers. Yeah. So I can relate to what you're saying, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. However, after that, and once about maybe a week or two, and I heard them speaking and hollering at the other new cadets, I started to understand, like I said earlier, that it was a technique, a strategy that they were using.
Yeah.
But initially, it was intimidating.
Yeah.
And it was angering.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't used to that type of approach.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, did you ever go to war? Did you ever, go to war while you was in there or anything, or what happened?
Well, out of boot camp,
we
had, I think it was 13 weeks of boot camp. Immediately after boot camp, MCRD, I was sent to the staging battalion in Camp Harno, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And from there, we were sent directly to Vietnam by the way of Okinawa. So as soon as we finished boot camp, we were sent directly into battle.
Wow.
Directly.
Wow.
So I wasn't even I was still 19. No, I had turned 20.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah.
Just describe, because I want people to understand what your story is. I'm trying to get them to get the full picture of your story.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about what that experience was like for you going into the Vietnam War.
Well, initially, I can truthfully say, I wasn't afraid of going into combat.
Yeah.
And for the most part, I welcomed it.
Okay, wow.
Because it was in a sense, after I got over the part that the drill instructors were playing, the intimidation tactics, I knew that during the training, that what they were doing was preparing us
exactly.
for battle.
Yeah.
And when you're being prepared for battle, you can't mess around.
Yeah.
You got to employ the greatest tactics and strategies that you possibly can. So we were prepared to engage right away.
Yeah.
In fact, the moment we got off the plane, we were attacked.
Wow.
Before we even got into country and got our assignments to our barracks, we were attacked.
Wow. Just guns, bombs, or?
It was, we heard tanks.
Yeah.
We heard mortar rounds. We heard grenades. I mean, we could hear tanks, both on the American side.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah.
We could hear all these sounds and all these noises that the drill instructors had prompted us to be aware when we got there. So we knew those sounds were there.
Yeah.
But now it was a real deal now.
Yeah.
This was something, it wasn't dry firing anymore.
Yeah.
This was 101.
See, I would have been a nervous wreck. I wouldn't have done good at all in the military. Because I'm scared of guns, I'm scared of all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I commend you for your bravery, for sure.
Yeah. But again, like I said, Marine Corps was good in terms of preparing us. We knew that we were going to be engaged in battle with the Vietnamese.
Okay.
And the Vietnamese regulars.
Okay.
And that kind of thing. So we knew that it was coming.
Yeah. So once you, okay, so you got there and the battle was started and you guys got situated and set up. And what happened? What happened once you guys got set up? Because you were kind of ushered into the battle. So once you got set up and stationed with the other troops, tell me what happened.
Well, immediately we were assigned to different, we call them hooches, but they were barracks.
Okay.
But they didn't have sides on them because it was so hot. You couldn't have sides on them.
Yeah.
And you had your bunks. Now, immediately we were assigned what we call search and destroy missions.
Okay.
Ambushes.
Wow.
Sweep patrols. This was the first time that when we first got there. Now, so me, being who I was, they put me right out in the front. Because we had to cut through a lot of debris.
Okay.
In order to get through the jungle and that terrain.
So you said being who you was, meaning?
Meaning that I believe, now this is my perspective.
Just tell it like it is.
I believe because of who I was.
Meaning African American?
Yes.
Okay.
They wanted to, see the idea was this, put the new meat on the line first.
Yeah.
Let them get hit.
Yeah.
So that we can save our, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So it then by me being a black man, they put me out front.
Yeah.
And gave me the machete and told me to cut. Now, I didn't know anything. I couldn't identify the booby traps.
Yeah.
I had some in-class training, but in-class training is nothing like being out in the field.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really determine what the booby traps looked like.
Yeah.
Only thing I had was that huge machete cutting through that debris. But I knew I had brothers behind me that I had to stand firm.
Yeah.
And I had to go and cut through that so that we could make a way to get through to those, we say, enemy forces that were attacking our CP from time to time. Yeah.
I have a Caucasian friend that I'm very, very close with. He's actually in the, oh my God, I want to say Marine Corps. I want to say, I hope I'm saying it right. And he kind of talked to me about racism in the military. Yeah. Him and I don't know if it's his sergeant. Him and his sergeant is very close too. And his sergeant's Caucasian. And he was telling me about how him and his sergeant, they have these type of conversations because his sergeant always tell him that he act urban.
Urban.
He doesn't act like a quote unquote Caucasian.
Okay.
And so they laugh and joke around and stuff like that. But he definitely exposes that to me and talk. We've had many conversations about that. But I often communicate to him that it goes on everywhere.
Sure.
In the workplace, military, wherever you go. I mean, and it's not saying that everybody is like that per se, meaning Caucasians is like that. So I want to throw that out there because it's a lot of African Americans that are prejudiced too. But I thought it was interesting coming from somebody that was Caucasian, that's been in the military, and hearing from you. And my uncle was in the Navy. He kind of told us about that and stuff too. That something like that still goes on. It's kind of throw you out there because of the color of your skin, and let you, kind of deal with it. Then if we need the prized product, then we will usher them in, so to speak.
One episode that I remember very vividly, actually it's two, but I'll give one, is that in 1968, the drill instructors wanted the choice people out in front, being the platoon guide.
Right.
See, the platoon guide was the one that represented the squad. We were platoon 3088, and they wanted a certain person out in front in order to represent platoon 3088. However, they went through all the individuals. What I mean by all the individuals they possibly could. They went through all my Caucasian brothers. Because the platoon guide is out front. He has the authority over the squad leaders. So it was like him being the quarterback. And then you got the running backs and that sort of thing. So they wanted one of the Caucasian brothers out front. However, when we went to the rifle range, he could not qualify with the rifle. Okay? So we come back and go through a lot of conversation, and so they picked my Latino brothers.
Okay, wow.
To go and try to prime and make him, if you will, strong enough to handle a platoon. However, it didn't work out for him either.
Right.
And so we went back to the rifle range, and at the rifle range, the DI, I won't call his name, he said, okay, Joe, we know that you can do what we think you can do. We know you got the potential. We want you to be the platoon guy. And I said, no. Now, they're not going to write that in the history books.
Of course not.
But there were 3 other young black men in the platoon. And they said, Joe, and after I had explained to them what happened, they said, Joe, if you don't do it for the DI,
do it for them.
Do it for us.
And
to that end, I did it for them. And we won the pennant. At that point, that was the highest level of achievement you could get out of boot camp. Which meant that, as reluctant as it was, they didn't want to give me the stripe out of boot camp, but they had to give it to me. So that was just one.
Okay. I want to kind of fast forward a little bit. So when you went to war with the Vietnams, I want to talk a little bit about your experience of getting hurt. Share that story, because that's going to kind of lead us into another part of the interview.
Well, each day, we were sent on search and destroy missions, as I mentioned earlier. Or ambushes, or sweeps, and these are terms they use when you go through an area and you very particular, do everything you can to pick out, to flush out all the enemy forces in that area. Now, so for me, that was not too hard. I didn't mind doing that. But I had been on so many missions within that short period of time that I was there. I was put, in my opinion, here's the second one. I was told that I had to go on a listening post. The listening post is out in front of the main CP, so that if someone is hit, you would be hit. And so who did they send out first? Was yours truly. They sent out me. But I had some good guys working with me. I had some other Marines working with me that I was totally confident that they would back me up. And so I wasn't worried about that. But when we went out there, it was about 12:30 at night. We couldn't even see our hands before our face.
Wow.
And so to try to sum it up, all the thing I could determine was I saw flares going up. And then from the flares going up, I could hear some sounds coming down through, confronting us. And I didn't know exactly what it was. So I thought, because we had some of our troops go out there first. And I thought it was some of them. So I said, halt! Who goes there? And nobody said nothing. And the moment I heard that silence can be very, very nerve-wracking.
You knew.
I knew it was it.
Yeah. So at that time, did you get hit?
At that time, I reached for my M16.
Yeah.
And I was getting ready to unload.
Yeah.
But before I could unload, they hit me with about 6 or 8 rounds from an AK-47.
Wow. So what was going through your mind the moment that you got hit with that AK-47? I want to know exactly what was going through your mind at that point. Did you think that you was going to die? Did you think that, what was you thinking?
My thing was I wanted to fire back.
Okay.
However, I couldn't fire back because the side of my body was dangling and I was knocked to the ground. I couldn't get up.
Wow. Yeah.
So I was thinking about getting up and getting back at them.
Yeah.
That was my main objective.
Yeah.
In fact, I didn't even feel pain.
Yeah. Wow.
I just wanted to do my duty and protect my brothers that was behind me.
Yeah. 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 So you got hit, and they kind of got you to medical, or got you some medical attention, and what happened after that once you was brought to safety, so to speak?
Well, that's another story. All the other guys, I want to be fair in this.
Okay.
All the other guys didn't look like me.
Okay.
So they pulled all of them.
Meaning Caucasian.
Yeah, they pulled all of them and got them into the chopper, ready to go. Okay, and I was the one that was left out there, still bleeding.
Okay, so you telling me you had other Caucasian, what they call it, brothers with you at the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so you was the one that got shot and hurt in the Vietnam War at that time. Yeah. And they brought all the other Caucasian guys, got them out to safety and left you, and you was hurt and you was the last one that they brought. Okay, interesting.
In fact, it was so blatant, leaving me out there. The chopper was getting ready to take flight. Yeah. And I had to holler at the top of my lungs. Yeah. What about me? What about me? Yeah. And somebody heard me. Either the pilot or the co-pilot heard me. And for some reason, because they were getting incoming at that point too. Yeah. And I could understand they didn't want to drop back down because they could have lost the whole crew and all the men that were on there. Yeah. So, but by the grace of God, he landed again. Enough. He got low enough where some of the other Marines that were back at the CP, they just threw me up in there.
Yeah, wow.
They didn't know where, they just threw me up in there.
Yeah, trying to just get you onto safety.
Off the ground.
Okay. Yeah. So let's fast forward a little bit. So so once you got to safety and stuff, like, how did you end up getting out of the military? Like, what happened?
Well, the wounds, they sent me to Guam. Yeah. And I was in that triage, and and they chose me that they would work on me. Okay. Now, again, these are situations that the triage is when you determine who is hurt bad enough for you to give first attention. Yeah. So I wasn't given the first attention. Okay. And of course. So this thing is just blatant. Yeah. So actually, there were some young doctors. Okay. They came in during that triage. They said, why are I could hear them. Why are you leaving him? Why aren't you taking him? Because I was wounded on this left side. And they said, he's bleeding profusely. Why don't you take him? And they finally agreed. Yeah. We're taking him. And then I could hear him saying, well, if we take him, we're going to have to cut that left arm off. Yeah. I couldn't. I was under sedation at that point. I couldn't do anything. So again, by the grace of God, they came in. Yeah. Now these guys were Caucasians themselves. Yeah. These doctors, and so they worked on me and they worked on me and they worked on me for hours and hours until they got me to a point where, because I didn't know I thought the arm was going to be gone when I woke up. Yeah. But they got me to a point and they saved the arm. Okay. Wow. So, you got discharged due to your injury that was in the, okay. Yeah. So what was life like for you after the military, after that traumatic experience? What was your life like? What was going on with you after that, after you got back to the civilian life, so to speak? Well, at the time, in order to help ourselves mentally, we had to ingest a lot of certain substances. Yeah, yeah. To keep our minds at ease, so we wouldn't go off on a tangent. Yeah. So we ingested certain substances. In other words, to be specific, we had a lot of drugs. Yeah. Come down from Freedom Hill.
Yeah.
And so as a result, we use a lot of drugs.
Yeah.
Marijuana,
I know you got
the whole
yeah.
gamut,
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
And so that's how we kept ourselves in such a state
Yeah.
that we could perform,
Yeah. Yeah.
but at the same time, the heart was about to jump out of the top of our head.
Yeah.
But being in the Marine Corps, you can't show that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be tough. You got to be macho.
Yeah.
You got to protect your brothers.
Yeah.
So you got to fight, even when you're afraid.
Yeah. 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 So when you got home, when you were discharged from military, what happened? Because I know when I initially talked to you, you noticed that there was a difference. You was someone mentally a different person. Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about that. What was different about you after you was injured from the Vietnam War when you got back to civilian life? What was different about you?
What was different, the main thing is that I became aware that even the COs over here didn't understand.
Okay.
Because they told us when we got back, bring me out of a killing field, drenched in blood, every day, search and destroy, and periodically, if you will, ambushes. They told us to act normal.
Right.
How can you act normal?
Right.
So I became even more angry and bitter.
Yeah.
And after learning about a lot of my brothers that had been killed, it depressed me.
Yeah.
And I just got all out of sorts. And the company commanders, they wanted, and I should have acquiesced, but I didn't. They wanted me to salute them. And I wouldn't salute them.
Yeah.
I said, what you gonna do? You gonna send me back to Vietnam?
Yeah.
So I was angry.
Yeah.
I was bitter.
Yeah.
I was depressed, oppressed. I was stressed.
Yeah.
And then, to make matters worse, I tried to go and get help and tell them that we had become, if you will, addicted to some of the substances that we were intaking.
Yeah.
If they would help me.
Yeah.
They said, we got a waiting list of 120. I'll never forget it. We got a waiting list of 120 days.
Yeah. Wow.
We can't help you right now. So that electrified me.
Yeah.
And
Did you start having post-traumatic stress syndrome triggers? Like what did like certain things trigger you outside of the aggression, and like what stopped happening to you? Did you have thoughts about you getting injured when you came home? Did that trigger you, or?
One of the main things was when I got back, individuals that had not been in combat, they were going to tell me what it's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to tell me what it's like?
Yeah.
So that didn't set right.
Yeah.
And so as a result, I began to move away from all of the guys that were stationed back here in the United States.
Yeah.
And I just knew that they didn't understand what was going on in my head.
Yeah, what you had went through.
The sounds, the smells.
Yeah.
The people that we had to go and be in contact with.
Yeah.
The loud noises again.
Yeah.
Individuals, initially, when the drill instructor began to raise his voice and holler and scream, that was understood. Now they were doing it again. So you're going to do that again?
Yeah.
I've done my due diligence. You're going to do that again?
Yeah. Yeah. Talk a little bit about your substance abuse to help you cope with you know, what had happened to you in the military.
Well, when they wouldn't help me, I went out and started to do and get as many things I could to medicate myself.
To help you cope.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was working.
Okay.
And I had, for the most part, thought I would settle down.
Yeah.
But I went along and I worked at the post office a whole year.
Yeah, wow.
And I busied myself with that.
Yeah.
And going to school at night. But after a while, I couldn't cover the anger up. I couldn't cover the stress up. I couldn't cover the fact that I felt that I was being done unjustly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not being treated properly. And the things that I needed help with, they didn't want to hear that.
Yeah. 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 Wow. So I know you talked a little bit, told me about you going in and out of jail for 10 years during that time. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, what I did is this. I said, I know how to shoot.
Yeah.
Right? I know how to handle weapons. So I just went and got me the AR-15. and a couple of long-nose Smith & Wessons,
Yeah.
pistols. And I just did every damnable thing I could.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get money, to medicate myself.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that affect? How did the post-traumatic stress syndrome, disorder, how did it affect those around you? Were you married at the time, having any kids, and?
Well, that resulted in a divorce.
Okay.
And I had one son, and that one son, that relationship became alienated.
Right.
No longer had that relationship with him.
Because they didn't understand your experience. They didn't understand what was going on with you. Would you could say?
I would say that.
Okay.
Because when I would try to explain or share things, they would kind of turn back like, ooh,
Yeah.
that happened?
Yeah.
And you can't give them the gory details.
Right.
But if you can't give the gory details, why even talk about it?
Right. Right.
So I just shut down.
Yeah.
And as I shut down, the relationship died
Yeah.
because I couldn't manage it.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So in and out, in and out.
Yeah.
I would stop on the freeway. People would blow horns at me. I'd stop on the freeway, stop the car. Can you imagine? Stopping the car in the middle of the freeway, all these cars running around you because somebody blew a horn at you?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it didn't matter because I wasn't afraid.
Right. Right.
I should have been, but I wasn't.
Yeah. So before you was drafted, were you having any of these symptoms or issues or whatever before you went into the military? Would you say, or?
Oh man, I was on my way to going to school.
Okay.
I was doing well in school,
Yeah.
and I had some counselors and some mentors that were somewhat grooming me
Yeah.
for going to medical school.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in going to medical school, your mind had to be settled. You had to be focused. You can go off on any tangents and be out of sorts. You have to be under control.
Yeah.
So, to answer the question,
No,
I
yeah.
didn't have any of those symptoms.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
Wow.
all.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Whew, that's a lot. And the reason why I wanted to ask you that was because, I wanted people who watch this particular program to understand what that disorder is like. Yeah. If it is someone that's living with somebody that has post-traumatic stress syndrome, that they can watch this program and try to educate themselves, because I think it's important to really educate yourself about people. I'm saying not us, but people in general, loved ones, family members, if you're working in the workplace, to educate yourself about mental health, because the stigma will cause people to jump ship on loved ones only because they don't understand. Mm-hmm. And people don't want to leave people because they love them, but they just don't know how to cope with the unknown or something that they don't really understand themselves. Right. And so what do? Because it's stressful for them, they do the first thing that they know how to do is run. Mm-hmm. Run to their safety thing, when actually out to the loved one is the one that needs to help. Right. And so that's why I wanted to kind of ask that particular question.
It became a hopeless situation.
Yeah.
The close family members didn't understand.
Yeah.
I couldn't get help from the military per se.
Yeah. So
again, I just went off on that tangent and started doing everything I could.
So do you feel like you was trying to get peace? Do you what like in your mind were you looking for something to help you with whatever you was feeling, or was you trying to dull the triggers, the loud noise? Like, were you trying to get something, just being able to get yourself in a place where you can manage what you was actually feeling? Was that the case? I
was trying to restore my normalcy, if you will.
Okay.
Because I knew how I was before.
Okay.
And I couldn't even stand myself. I mean, what are you doing? I couldn't control the thoughts. I couldn't control the feelings. I couldn't control the anger.
Yeah.
It's like I was totally hopeless.
Yeah.
My whole career had been destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you get help?
Well, after the last stint in prison, and I kind of laugh at that.
Yeah.
The Lord had a Christian organization coming to the prison. And they asked me, they got a lot of guys, because most of the guys in prison, they don't want to go and talk to no Christian folks.
Yeah.
Because they figure they weak and they wimps anyway, right?
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
Yeah.
So I had enough courage to say, okay, I'm tired of doing this.
Yeah.
I want something different.
Yeah.
So one night, the organization, they had an altar call. And I responded to the altar call. And I accepted Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior of my life.
Yes.
And from that point, I started to feel better. It didn't change everything. I just started to feel better. I felt like I had some hope then.
Yeah, you felt the peace that you that you never felt before. Is it safe to say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody cared.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
Somebody to just give me an ear for a moment to share some of these episodes.
Yeah.
And they gave it to me.
Wow.
And from there, I couldn't get back into medical school.
Okay.
But from there, I got back into the junior college and that to the State University, and the Christian school.
Okay.
And then I got a job.
Okay.
I got a job where you had to be very, very meticulous in terms of how you apply yourself at the Presidio.
Wow.
And as a water treatment technologist. And so you had to be poised and focused.
Yeah.
and I couldn't go off with all them tangents anymore.
Yeah.
And of course, I was going to see a psychiatrist.
Yes.
And at that point, they said, man, I heard guys say, man, if you go see a psychiatrist, you must be crazy.
Yeah.
So I went anyway.
Yeah, yes.
Because in my heart, I knew I needed it.
Exactly.
If I was going to stay out of those prisons.
Exactly.
Because they had sent me to every prison in California.
Yeah.
San Quentin,
Yeah.
Folsom, Tracy, St. Louis Obispo, Chino. I went to all of them.
Yeah. And you know, you said something that caught my attention too, because you talked about how for some of the people that was surrounded by you knew that you was going to seek counseling from a psychiatrist and they said you must be crazy. I think it's so important, I cannot stress this enough, for those people who are out there that has experienced any type of mental health symptoms, whether they're depression, anxiety, bipolar, if you're out there and you're experiencing any sort of mental health symptoms or whatever, get the help that you need. Yeah. I don't care what nobody around you think or say about you. If you just in the dark like that, you know you need help, get the help that you need, because you are the one that had to live with whatever you're going through. Right. You know, this is your life, and I think a lot of people don't come forward. I have family members. I have a brother, in fact. We all knew that he's diagnosed with bipolar, but we all knew that he needed some professional help.
Yeah.
But what happened? He didn't get it. My mom, we kind of had the conversation later on in life, and she was like, well, you know, I didn't take him because I knew what the family was gonna think and stuff like that. And I have to be honest with you, when she said that, I got angry. Now, this is me as an adult, living down here in the state of California. I got angry because I was now educated enough and knew enough and things like that. And it made me angry that to me, I didn't call her out on it, but I felt like she was selfish because she was more worried about how she felt, how she was going to be looked at, opposed to getting my brother the help that he needed. His situation was just like yours in a sense where he got the help he needed when he went to jail. He was having all these episodes and he went to jail and he was just, matter of fact, I remember talking to him actually before he went to get help. And I told him, I'm like, look, this is what you need. You go and do what you need to do. What is this person gonna think? Well, I'm like, I don't care what they think. This is your life. You need professional help. And he went and got professional help. And he's doing okay now.
That's good.
You know?
And time would not permit, the many times I wanted to commit suicide.
Yeah.
Because I was so depressed. I felt lower than a whale's belly.
Yeah.
And the only way I could do it, I said, if I take this hot shot, which is heroin,
yeah,
I could end it all.
Yeah.
I could end it all. But there were some people, even when I did it 2 times. Yeah. They came along, doused me with cold water, got me up and walked me around and got to tell me, man, you can do better than this, Joe. Yeah. You can help yourself. Yeah. You don't have to live like this. Yeah. Yeah. So from that point on, I felt like living again.
Yeah.
And I started to seek help
Yeah.
from the psychiatrist and from a program that I went down to Menlo Park. And I was in that program for 6 months. And they had all kinds of, you're probably familiar with the Gestalt therapy and all the programs they give you, trying to restore your sense of confidence, restore your sense of humanity, restore your sense of dignity.
Yeah.
And that helped me.
Yeah.
And from that point on, I started to look for other areas. And then to fast forward a bit, when I got up to, when I was able to retire now, with the help of my mentors,
Yeah.
retired from the Presidio. And from there, I realized I needed more help.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you could be totally quiet and peaceful, and something will happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And television programs, I'm not going to mention all these tough guy programs on TV. I say, I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Because all they got to do, all the director got to do is say, cut.
Yeah.
And they go back to their cubicles.
Yeah.
I said, I don't watch that.
Yeah.
So I started to get more help. And from there, other individuals came alongside and began to guide and direct me that and honing in specifically on the issues that I was having. And the nightmares and the tendency to have suicidal moments still was there.
Yeah.
But I knew I had a support force
Yes.
that I go to. And now I'm going through Mather. Now Mather has some good programs for veterans. Now.
Yeah.
They didn't have them in 1970, 71.
Yeah.
But they got them now. You familiar with the RAP?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
RAP. We had that.
Which is Wellness Recovery Action Plan.
And then we got peer counselors over there now that have gone through similar situations
Yeah.
that we have. And we talk about things because you can't talk to everybody about these situations.
Yes.
So we got a forum there.
Yeah.
Talk about the hurts. We talk about the pain. We don't take off that so-called Marine Corps macho, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you got to be tough in some areas,
Yeah.
but you don't have to be tough all the time.
Yeah.
And see, in the groups allow us to show our vulnerability.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I want to piggyback on rap. How has rap helped you in your journey?
Well, rap gives us a set of tools, if you will, more so than the psychiatrists. Now, they were good in terms of giving you hands-on, and you go there every so often per week, and then sometimes per month.
From a clinical perspective.
Yes.
Okay.
But the rap, it gives you tools, and gives you materials to read and to study, and you got other people in the rap program that can come alongside of you and
Yeah.
help, and somewhat encourage you. Hey, did you look at this? Did
Yeah.
you look at that?
Yeah.
You know, I know that bothered you, but take another look at that.
Yeah.
There's another alternative. There's
Yeah.
something else you can do. You don't have to react. You can respond.
Yeah.
And that's what rap has helped me to do. In fact, I do that once or twice a week now.
Yeah.
But I finished the program.
Yeah.
But I still go to the meetings because I need the meetings. I need the meetings at the VA.
Yeah.
And I try to bring other people, other brothers in there. And there are women as well
Yeah.
that have had interesting situations that time would not permit to go into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're talking about some trauma.
Yeah.
So as I'm helped, I try to reach out and help other veterans.
Yeah. How important is it to have a circle of support around you when you're going through a moment, what I'm just saying, having a breakdown moment or a stressful moment? How important is it to have that circle of support around you that understand your situation?
That's huge because you got numbers.
Yeah.
You can call people.
Right.
Just a matter of a phone call and someone telling you that, okay, we know it's bad and we know you want to check out of here.
Yeah.
But let's look at this way.
Yeah.
And they talk and they talk. And pretty soon you calm down
Yeah.
and you can live another day.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I want to kind of back a little bit too, so your discharge, I know, let's say I want the reason why, because I want people to really understand your story. This is your story. This
Okay.
is your experience, and I want people to know we're not in no way trying to make the government or nobody look bad or
no.
like that. But this is what you experience, and I want you to have the opportunity to share your story because this story is going to help a lot of people.
Yeah.
Trust me on that. People that watch this particular program, I personally believe that it's going to help a lot of people. So talk a little bit about your discharge and what happened with the benefits and what did you have to do with that? Because I want people to know that part too.
Well, like I said, I was hit. I told you how many times I was hit.
Yeah.
And I was in pretty bad shape, both physically and mentally.
Yeah,
And they just put me out with a UD.
yeah,
They gave me an undesirable discharge.
yeah, yeah. Well, what we know today is a dishonorable discharge.
Yeah.
Okay.
They gave me, and so I had been, in my opinion, I had done a great job for the time that I was there and received the Purple Heart, you know, the Bronze Star and all that stuff. But still, that didn't help. Now, I don't know if they gave me the undesirable discharge because of who I was
Yeah,
or it was something I did. I didn't do anything to deserve dishonorable discharge. But as a result, about the 8th year in prison after I'd had that undesirable discharge, the Commandant of the Marine Corps went back in and revisited my case.
okay,
And when they revisited my case, they, if you will, changed the discharge from dishonorable
to honorable.
to honorable.
That's awesome. Did you have to get a lawyer to help you with that or?
Well, I didn't have personal lawyers,
Okay,
but I believe lawyers had to go and
on your behalf.
on my behalf.
Yeah,
And I didn't meet them directly, but I believe that they were there
okay,
helping me because otherwise it's hard. It's hard to get an undesirable discharge. And I wasn't deserving of an undesirable discharge.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they gave it to me nevertheless.
Yeah. How did that make you feel once you knew that was changed off your record?
Well, I was glad.
Yeah.
I mean, when I knew that was changed, then I said, I started back to school again.
Nice.
I started back to school again.
Yeah.
And the way I could tell, because when you got undesirable discharge, you can't get those benefits.
Yeah.
And my little checks start to come in.
Yeah.
And like, oh.
Yeah.
And then they sent me a paper in the mail. Now, this happened while I was in prison now.
Okay.
They sent me a paper in the mail, and that your discharge. They use a very strong word. There's another word they use for it.
Yeah.
It wasn't transferred. It was like your discharge has been, and it was like
Like a status had changed or something.
Like in other words, it has been commuted.
Yeah.
And I was happy.
Yeah.
I was glad.
Yeah.
And so I started to go back to school.
Yeah.
And I said, okay.
And didn't you even have to fight for more pay?
Oh yeah.
Because I think you said they had started your pay low and you kind of had to fight for that to get more pay benefit.
Well,
Now, this is after the military is what I'm saying.
yeah. Well,
Okay.
they put me out without any medical benefits.
So you got hurt fighting Vietnam War. Mm-hmm. They put you out, disarmed, discharged, and with no medical anything.
Not at all. Didn't even, nobody even, you know how you brief the troops on the way in? I was never briefed. Now, somebody else may have been briefed.
Okay.
I was never briefed as to what I was entitled to because I suppose, because I had the type of discharge I had, there was no need to do that.
Okay.
So they were adamant,
Yeah.
you know, we just write him off.
Yeah.
He's no longer valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
We out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
We used him, and so we just let him go back out there, and whatever he does, be that as it may.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but to answer the question, I was happy,
yeah.
and now I carry that in my pocket. Now I got all my little, my little ribbons and stuff like that. And what I do, I give guys hope.
Yeah.
Even though bad things happen to you,
Yeah.
there are people Everybody's not the same.
That's exactly right.
There are people that will help you if you let them.
That's exactly right. And that's important for people to realize. I think sometimes people allow the negativity that happens from other people's experience stop them from reaching out and getting help.
Right.
Their own help, you know, like me, for example, and I'm just gonna say this plainly, you know, even though I am African American, I didn't have a father in a home with me and grew up with a single parent, just the drugs, the alcohol, what you see on TV, that was my lifestyle. That was my reality growing up. Right. You know, there was a lot of depression. Some stuff I dealt with, my family has no clue. I was depressed, I was suicidal. I wanted that love, I wanted that attention. I had always excelled in school and very smart and honor roll and things like that. But I didn't have nobody there to say, hey, Jesse, good job. Right. 8th grade graduation, high school graduation, was not a soul there. Nobody there. Yeah. You hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, this is me as a child, as a teenager growing up, not feeling loved and welcome, you know. But the interesting thing about it, and I tell people this to say this to people today, all my mentors have not been black. All my mentor has been Caucasian.
Caucasian. On
Every last one of them. Yeah. The first man that came in my life that was a father figure to me was a pastor. Yeah. He is the reason why I actually moved to the state of California. Yeah, do you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. So when I share that, when I talk about topics like this, me as an African American, I'm well aware of what goes on out here in these streets and in society. I'm not ignorant to that fact, but I'm also well aware that everybody is not like that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because goodness lives in the heart of the people, regardless of what color skin they are, and I truly believe that. So, yeah, and I just want to point that out, so to speak.
And I might add, in order to help us with our PTSD, whatever that situation may be, whatever level or wherever you are, we got programs along with RAP, along with the peer counseling groups at the Mather. We got a golf group.
Yeah.
We got the golf group, Veterans Golf Group, and we got fly fishing.
Nice.
All of these things are designed, and not to mention, we got a music group with a peer counselor that, if you're open, would teach you how to play the guitar or how to play the drums or whatever you want to play.
Yeah.
And by the way, this particular person is a Caucasian and he's a Marine.
Yeah, nice.
So, I mean,
yeah.
That was really good. And so that helped me because now I'm in a position now to be more positive.
Exactly.
I don't have to go and commit suicide.
Right.
I don't have to give myself hot shots anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? I feel good about who I am.
Yeah.
And I believe that I can live a prosperous and productive life.
And yes. And you can.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah, you know, Joe, we got a couple minutes before this. And, you know, your story for me is very eye-opening. This is actually the first story that I can think of. As a matter of fact, I'm almost positive that we did on someone that was in the military in this depth, what I'm trying to say. Right. And I'm grateful that you shared your story, and I'm thankful that you're being used as to bring hope to people and share your personal experience. Right. But personally, for me, the people that can reach me are the people that you got to have some type of background. Like you got to have, you know what I'm saying, to reach me in my struggles. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. So I have to know that you understand where I'm coming from, so to speak. And a lot of times that comes from people who has been through what I've been through. So thank you for that.
You're quite welcome, because you got to have somebody that can relate.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And you really want to make a difference. To use that trite term, you want to make a difference in the lives of people, especially that have gone through situations like you've gone through.
Yeah.
Because everybody has purpose.
Yeah.
Everybody has purpose.
Yeah.
And God wants to give us and help us, if you will, work out every potential.
Yeah.
And that's not always welcome.
Yes.
In some areas.
Yeah.
But when I tell them about the other stuff,
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we run out of time, so
right.
thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I appreciate it.
And that's it for today's edition of Mental Health Matters. You heard Joe's story. You heard him talk about rap. If you're out there and you're looking for a good rap 8-week class, you can call NorCal MHA. That number is 916-366-4600. Really, really good place to start if you need help. If you would like to be a guest on the show, if you would like a DVD copy of this show, please dial 916-366-4600. Thank you.